Well, we're at the end of 2021, and let's be real, it has been a tough year. Much of the world has still been battling the COVID pandemic. I mean, here in Sydney, we've just come out of months of lockdown, but we seem to have made it out the other side. So for the end of the year, we wanted to do something that we could share with you to celebrate our birthday. And one of the most fun things that we've done over the past few years was the build that Scott and I did with his Falcon G6E. So we thought we might build another car. We went to the big boss and we asked if we could build another car. He said yes, but there will be a few conditions. We'll be given a budget, we have to build a certain type of car, and Dad said we've got to bring along our little brother Haltech USA this time. Which means we're not building one car, we're building two. So join us over the next few weeks on this exciting adventure. So management has agreed to a fairly modest budget for each build, but they've also given us a very strict set of rules that we've got to follow.
Number 1, the project car has to be a 1986 model. It has to be locally manufactured, and our build has to represent our home country. Number 2, the budget for each build is $19,860 US. The budget has to cover the car itself and all of the parts used in the build, except for Haltech products and labour. Number 3, both builds have to be completed before Christmas. This gives us about 5 weeks' time. And number 4, once finished, both builds will have to complete a set of motorsport challenges. There was no shortage of talent at the Haltech USA Kentucky office, and after some serious vetting and casting, there were only 2 left standing: Andrew, Lexington's resident wiring and welding guru, and Victor, Ford fanatic and one of the best racing tech support guys in the country.
Oh, that's interesting. So I guess locally made, we kind of have only a few choices. So Ford, Chevy, Mopar. There was a handful of others, but really Ford versus Chevy is kind of the American way. Mm-hmm. And if we ask this guy, there's only one choice.
A Mustang.
If we can find a 1986 Ford Mustang Coupe Project.
When does the 5 weeks start?
I guess as soon as we have the car. But if the car is partially done and the cage is already in it, that will speed things up a lot. Mm-hmm. We've got to find a Mustang.
It's hard to argue with Team USA's choice. The 1986 Mustang is not only an American muscle icon, it also perfectly reflects the vibe of that decade. In its factory guise, it was powered by a 5-litre V8 making about 210 horsepower, and its sticker price was $6,885. Ooh, it hurts me saying that. Of course, the car Team USA were getting was far, far removed from its factory condition.
So we did buy a roller, and roughly the car makes 0 horsepower. If you look at it off the bat, you're gonna think it's a newer generation, late 80s, early 90s Ford Mustang. Now, coincidentally, the actual born on date of this Mustang is 1986, just like Haltech was founded in 1986.
Is it popular to put a newer front end on these cars?
Yes. A lot of the Mustang community racers, they actually like the newer front end. They think it's sexier, sleeker.
I am a little bit stuck on making this thing back to being original. I think we'll address that throughout this build.
Okay, so the car, or let's be real, rolling shell of a car that Team USA purchased hinted at the direction they were taking their build. In its previous life, this Mustang was a race car, so plenty of race spec bits were already included. Bits like the beefy diff, race suspension and roll cage. The fact that it was already painted in almost the right yellow sealed the deal. Scott and Richard were nominated to represent Australia. Scott and I worked together on the Falcon project a couple of years ago, so I was looking forward to doing it all over again.
All right, so here are the rules. Number 1, the project car must be a 1986 model.
All right, good times, yeah.
Yep. Our total budget for this project is $19,860, not 1986 US dollars.
All right, that
So
helps us
that's
a
good.
fair bit.
That means we can spend about 24 grandish,
All right,
roughly.
healthy, yeah.
The budget includes the car, but does not include labour or Haltech products.
Okay, so we can get people in to help.
We can get
That's
people in to
pretty
help.
easy.
Yep.
And we can put a Haltech catalogue in it. That's fun and that's always
Excellent.
entertaining.
The time to complete the project is 5 weeks.
Okay, that's an issue. We might have less of a catalogue because we don't have time to do it.
And then each project will be submitted to a number of challenges. Doesn't say what they are. It just says that we'll have challenges. So, I mean, sounds like we've got a couple of challenges just in getting this thing built in 5 weeks. But
Yeah, only recently,
Yeah.
everyone's realised that new cars have got no class.
The old
86 models where it's at.
the old car, in fact, my first car was a VL Commodore, which would be perfect for this. Like, there's nothing more Aussie, but
You know what?
I don't think we're going to find a VL
No.
that we can afford, and we can also afford to do the mods.
I don't think we're going to find a Holden that's not full of rust
Yeah.
this era for that amount of money.
For that amount of money.
Ford,
Obviously, there's Ford
Australian.
XT Falcon. We could stick a Barra in. We know a bit about Barras.
Good
That's
luck getting an XD. I don't think that's going to happen for the
Also,
money.
couldn't afford.
Can we change the budget?
I don't know that we can do that.
We can't break the rules in the first 3 minutes.
Can't break those rules.
Yep.
Let's think outside the box. There were other Aussie-made cars around that time.
There were.
Yeah.
Magna.
No. What about Nissan made some cars here?
Nissan did make some cars here. They made a CA20 powered Nissan Pintara.
Yeah.
It was a classy looking car. Didn't really have any grunt, but it was a classy looking thing. Rear drive.
But it was the same. It was the same body shape as the R31.
Then the Nissan Skyline.
The Nissan
mighty
Skyline
R31.
R31, RB powered.
Right era, right year.
Rear-wheel drive.
Haven't checked pricing on them lately, but I think that could be realistic. There was plenty of them made.
Mate.
Most of them have been drifted into gutters by now.
Well, I reckon we should go shopping.
While there was no shortage of Skylines for sale, finding a clean one at a reasonable price proved harder than we thought. So when we spotted a local ad for an unmolested example in fairly original spec, we jumped on it right away.
Wow. Well, deal's done. Cash has been paid. Key is ours. And let me tell you, there is nothing that screams 1980s like a bright blue velour interior. Let's start her up. There she goes. Take it for a drive, see what it's like, and go and show me mate Scotty. Yeah, so we've got to build a car that represents Australia. And you sort of think, what? It's a Nissan, which is a Japanese car. How can that represent Australia? Well, this one was actually built in Australia, and Nissan has a real history in Australian motorsport. Back in the day, in the 90s, when I was growing up, the Skyline was the car. It was well, they called it Godzilla because it came from Japan and defeated everything. Yeah, being a Bathurst kid, I was always there at the races. In fact, I was in the crowd the year that the Nissan GT-R won in contentious conditions, and Jim Richards called everyone a pack of arseholes. I was right there. Jim Richards called me an arsehole.
You're a pack of arseholes.
Have a look at this wedge-shaped beauty. If you were into Japanese turbocharged twin cam performance in the late 80s and early 90s, this would have been the car that you would have been dreaming about. But this type of car is upwards of 40,000 Australian dollars now. There's not enough money in the budget, so we got the next best thing. Same, right?
1986 Wheels Magazine Car of the Year, the Nissan Skyline was actually manufactured in Australia. It was powered by a 3-litre single-cam RB30, producing 152 horsepower and cost $18,000. That's Australian dollars. As it happens, the example we purchased was actually pretty close to a factory original and cost about half of its 1986 price.
So this is it, mate, the next best thing.
Dude, this is actually a decent car. It's got nearly 300,000 Ks, but you wouldn't know. It actually drives pretty good.
This was it. This was one of the cars one of the drift pigs, the drift missile.
I didn't do any drifting on my way over, but I'm game.
Man, overall, man, the body looks all right. The interior looks not terrible. How many Ks you say it's got?
It's got 291,000 kilometres.
Yeah, I like it.
It's not bad.
How'd it go?
It goes good.
Man, the body is actually pretty clean.
I know. Like, we've got the genuine barn dust on it, but it's I Underneath that, I think it's really quite good.
Maybe that's what's been protecting it, all of that, all that dirt. Man, overall, for a car this old, it looks pretty straight. It's got all the chrome, like it's kind of...
It's got the original wheels. It's a genuine barn find. I'm not joking.
Can you call this a barn find if it's just an R31 four-door?
Why not?
Mate, cracking job on the find.
Thank you, mate.
But most importantly, it's pretty nice. Like, how much did it cost?
Well, it cost us $9,000.
It's more than I ever would have thought we would ever spend on an R31, but...
What car prices are these days, man. But it does leave us with about 15 grand left, Aussie.
Right, 15 Aussie.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a bit of work to do with that. It sounds like a lot straight up, but man, things cost money, eh?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi guys. So we've all seen the rules. We've been out, we've done some car shopping. Looking at the rules, I know we didn't have a lot of options and you probably didn't either. So Scott and we've done a bit of educated guessing and figured there's really only two ways you could have gone, either Chevy or Ford.
Yep.
And knowing Victor, we figured you've probably gone with a Ford.
Of course.
Let me guess, a Fox body Mustang?
That's probably the most American car that there is now, right, in the drag racing scene. So it's a drag car, actually, as well, if it's a Fox body. You're not really making a circuit car, right?
It'll turn.
It's a 1986 Mustang Coupe, which is the most desired model of all the Mustangs. It's coupe with a trunk in the back instead of a hatchback.
Okay, so we got a car. So what did you guys get?
We got a piece of automotive history. It is a Nissan Skyline R31. When you think about Nissan Skyline, you think about twin cam, four-wheel drive, twin turbocharged. Yeah, so any of those things that you're thinking about, it doesn't have any of that. I think we've probably got the same number of camshafts, I would imagine, which we're not used to that.
Well, technically, we don't have any camshafts currently.
So it's like a Koenig Sig free valve or something?
It doesn't have any pistons neither.
Is it a rotary?
We don't have an engine.
No.
Since Team USA's Mustang used to be someone else's race car, the first thing to do was clean it out and get rid of anything that did not suit its new intended purpose.
Are we keeping the dash in this?
You know, at first we talked about putting a fiberglass dash in the thing. However, taking a look at this, it's already gutted, and really it's not that heavy, and it's cut for the cage. I mean, really we could just clean it up a little bit and save a little bit of money.
The old dash, gauges, switchgear, race seat, harness, as well as the old carpet was removed, giving Vic and Andrew a blank canvas for their new cabin interior.
There's a lot going on in the inside. Not all of it's good.
Yes, we do have quite a bit of a mess here. We have all these miscellaneous gauges. I see a drive shaft in the back seat. Why is it in the back seat? Oh, wait, we don't have a transmission.
Right, yeah.
The guys then proceeded to cut the front off in preparation for a replacement tube front end.
All right, we all want to do this stuff ourselves, right? And having a local solution to something as popular as a tube front for a Fox body Mustang is key. Kodion is local to us and sells a DIY kit that is part of the way done to begin with. He started off by welding the main plates onto your pre-bent and pre-notched tubes. I was blown away just by the fact that all the scaling is off of this tubing. That makes it super easy to weld. This kit includes everything you need to tube front your Fox body Mustang. All right, so I'm super excited to get this thing installed. However, before this can go on here, we gotta finish prepping the chassis. So as you can see, it does fit pretty good, but it's not in the right place. Let's fix that. My buddy Nick here, what'd you do yesterday, man?
They let me use the Sawzall.
So why the heck would we cut the front end off of this Mustang? This Mustang's front end was not in great shape. So we decided that it needed to have a tube front end. What that'll do is take a little bit of weight off the front end and give us a bunch more room, but also clean it up. So Nick, what made you cut here?
Well, I looked at it, and I thought it was just a good spot.
So yesterday, Nick measured from this hole here and then out, but actually a little extra so that we can pull it back to where we need it. So his rough cuts started about an inch outside of what the instructions told him to. That allows for a lot of leeway and mess up room.
It's always better to have too much.
That's
than not
right.
enough.
You can always cut off more. Adding it back is a lot more complicated.
Yeah, clean it up and let's get it ready to go.
What are you doing?
Playing with it. I'm fidgeting.
I don't think this one does it. Just for a quick recap, we cut the front end off and we added our tube front end. I did shoot a little bit of primer on it to keep it from rusting because it was raw materials and that'll rust up pretty quick, especially in the humidity of Kentucky. I noticed your door is sitting next to the front wheel.
Yeah, it was in the way.
It's a little loose, Vic.
It's time to replace it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a good idea. I mean, it can't hurt to replace something. I mean,
How about a carbon fiber drive shaft?
why don't we just use this one, put new U-joints in it? Save a little bit of money. You think if we're gonna, I mean, it's 3.5-inch steel.
It should be the right length for the transmission we've selected already.
Yeah, that's true, because it's already got the mid plate, so this should.
And you didn't move the mid plate, did you?
No, we just welded it up.
Okay, I think we'll be good.
While the Americans were off to a flying start, back in Australia, things were moving at a much slower pace.
All right, Scotty's giving me a list of parts that I've got to go and find. Let's hit the road. This is pretty exciting. I feel a bit like Santa Claus going and, getting all these presents. A montage of me getting car parts. Just gonna go see my mate Pat at Aeroflow. He tells me they've got a really good turbo that'll work well on this project for a really good price, which is awesome because we've got a budget.
Hey Rich, here's that boost of turbo you needed.
Thank you, mate. Just put it on my tab.
Hey, you don't have a tab here.
Okay, next stop is Plasma Man because you can't really do boost without Plasma Man stuff. Thanks, mate.
While I was out part shopping, Scott got busy getting some baseline figures from our Skyline.
The RB30 is no stranger to being a base for pretty big power. These things, the blocks, the crankshaft, sometimes even the cylinder heads in these, are used in builds upwards of 1,000 horsepower. These things are actually running 6s as a single cam. Obviously, they're a little bit more built than what we've got here. This is a dead standard engine in our 1988, 1989 model Nissan Skyline R31. It's a 3-litre single cam engine. It's got the Nissan ECCS style engine management system factory. It's got a cable style throttle, distributor ignition with a single coil on the front here. Obviously it's fuel injected. It's got a fuel pump that's in the fuel tank. I did search hard to get this car. It's in really good nick. The body's in pretty good shape. Everything looks like it's been taken care of. The interior is really nice. The aircon still works, but I really do wonder how many of those horses have escaped over the last 35 or so years. So I know Richard was pretty keen to find out how it went on the dyno, so I'll give him a ring now and give him the good news. Hey, g'day mate, how you going?
Yeah, not bad. I'm hard at work, How's you going?
Yeah, pretty good. Hey, listen, I'm just on the dyno with the R31 now. I've just run it up. Everything's gone pretty good. Mate, guess how much power she made?
I'm going to start with a nice round 100.
No, mate. No. Lower.
95?
No. Lower. 90? No, in kilowatts, so lower.
Please tell me it made more than 80 kilowatts.
Yeah, so it made 81 kilowatts.
Well, that's 1 kilowatt more than 80, but it's pretty obvious that we bought a nugget.
So we heard an interesting rumor that you guys already dynoed your all's car.
And we've made a start on it, and we've got a bit of an idea now. So we put it on the dyno because I was terrified that the thing's got 300,000 kilometers on it, and the claimed power versus what it's actually got. Well, we needed a baseline, right?
Okay, so what did it make?
Well, it made more than I expected, to be fair, and it made a cracking 110 horsepower at the wheels.
Sure, laugh it up, but what's your baseline power? Oh, you can't do one because you don't have an engine.
We went out and made a 60-foot hit out on the street with it without a motor.
We figured something out.
So, as it turns out, you can do a power pull without an engine in the car. You just need to think outside of the box.
I'm Austin Owen and I work in accounting, and I think marketing's spending way too much money on this.
So if one Austin can pull one Mustang over 60 foot in 1 minute, I guess that's one Austin power?
Yeah, baby, yeah!
But seriously, the decision on what engine was going to power the USA Mustang had to be made.
So we don't have an engine.
Nope.
I know you're a Ford guy, but there's a very popular engine, and it's kind of what the Americans are known for.
I don't like where this is going at all.
I know you don't, but I think we've settled on going LS. Vic is a diehard Ford fan, so his Ford
Hey,
powered
wait a
by
minute, pump the
Ford.
brakes here. You know that the LS is actually a copycat of the Windsor motor made by Ford, and that the LS was actually designed by Ford engineers.
Ford makes a great engine. However, they can be expensive to build. Now, the LS has been proven time and time again to be a reliable, fairly easily built engine for the money.
I agree.
So I think the plan is to do big inches and a shot of nitrous.
I kind of like the idea of nitrous and everything, but I don't want to be playing with a plate. We need to get a fogger on the thing.
Mate, you're a regular Santa Claus in here.
I'm pretty fat and jolly.
Straight out of the back of a van. All
What do you
right.
reckon? I've been around visiting our friends.
The first thing, hard to find. I know exactly what this thing is.
That's our turbo manifold.
That's a factory VL turbo exhaust manifold. Good luck finding one of them. What else have we got?
I've been over to Plasma Van, picked up a fuel rail,
Nice.
picked up our Plenum. Check this out, dude. Forward-facing Plenum. It is mint.
All right, uses the factory bottom half. Wow, look at the welding on that.
Wow. It's really good work, that.
This thing, nice. Electronic throttle body. Is that for cruise control?
That's for cruise control.
Yep, nice.
Turbo Smart fuel reg.
Yep.
Can't remember what that box is.
Let's have a look. That smells already. I can smell the engine parts. Valve springs,
Valve
which
springs.
means that we've got one of these things.
Yes, got a camshaft.
You get two?
No, we only need one.
So what do we choose here? What's the story?
So I talked to Pat
Bill
over at
it?
Aeroflow, and this is their new range of turbos. He said this is the one we want. This will fit on the stock manifold.
That's got a thing for a turbine speed sensor. Sweet, stock manifold, 106 rear. All right, so we're not mucking around. We're looking for a bit of power.
Well,
Okay.
dude, the Americans are building a drag car. Like
Yeah, just so you know, we can't
we're not
build
going to win a drag
car.
race. We're not going to win a drag race. But that's okay, I think, because a drag car is American. When you say racing in America, don't mean drag racing, So I really think with this build, we should go for that hot street car, sleeper kind of, could be a tourer type vibe.
all right.
We've got the four-door,
Yep, the Weekend Warrior.
the Weekend Warrior.
All right. Well, Richo, mate, you've delivered. We've got a hell of a lot of parts, but not a hell of a lot of time. I could probably do this.
Yeah,
but
no, there's a fair bit of unbolting and rebolting. However, you remember the rules.
Labour, what's the story?
Labour is not included, which means we can call some friends.
All right. Well, why don't we call a heap of mates or...
Actually, you know what we should do?
Yeah.
Let's call one mate
Yep.
who's really good.
So, we've arrived at the end of week 1. While adhering to the same set of rules, the two teams have opted for two totally different builds. Team USA's project has moved forward in leaps and bounds. The guys also managed to keep the costs under control, which is great, especially at the beginning of their build. Team Australia's finances did not look encouraging. Fortunately, the mods planned for the rest of the build were relatively modest and inexpensive. Or so we thought.